Hello, I am Christina, and I'm going to be giving my speech on why everyone should travel to the American Southwest. This area of the country is probably one of my favorite places on the planet, and granted, I haven't been to too many, but I have been to most of America, and this is still, after years and years of traveling back and forth and through and around and nearby, like, this is my favorite place. Just the rock formations and the red dirt and rocks and the Grand Canyon, and just honestly being in the middle of nowhere, just driving to different places, stopping at gas stations where you can actually see the blue sky and just white clouds going across it and everything. So I am going to be focusing on uh, several different topics. Mainly, is the first is going to be the national parks, followed by the local entertainment it's possible to find, and then the history of the region, because I just love the history, and then the wildlife. So firstly, I'm going to talk about the national parks, which are probably the most well-known aspect of the American Southwest. Like, there is the Grand Canyon, and there's Zion and Bryce Canyon and Arches National Park in Utah. And getting up into Colorado, there's of course the Rocky Mountains and Mesa Verde, which is near Durango. And there's Four Corners, of course, which is really interesting always. And Mojave Desert, and Joshua Tree, and Death Valley, and pretty much everything around there that they are most known for their national parks in Tennessee. And within the national parks, there's so many different recreational things you can do. You can go hiking, you can do river rafting when it's during the summer and when it's actually nice and warm outside or incredibly hot. There's camping. You can explore whatever region you're going through. Like, just last week I was in Utah and we went to Weed Cave. That's a national park, and it was quite a hike because I wasn't used to the elevation. I'd only been there for a couple days at the time, and so it was hard, but it was worth it. And then hiking back down was more fun than hiking up, obviously. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the entertainment and the local festivals and all this. Like, everyone has heard of the massive hot air ballooning festival that happens in, was it New Mexico, every year. And there's stuff like that all over. You just have to look for it and be ready to go when it comes. Just be spontaneous sometimes. And then, of course, there's just the local things. Like, there's a lot of drive-in theaters, actually, outside of California, which is nice. Museums are a lot of times reasonably priced if you wanted to out of the heat. And then, of course, the national parks. And, okay, going into the last thing is going to be just the history of the region. I love history. So whenever I encounter, like, just an old historic fort or a way station on the Oregon Trail, I love to stop there. I love to learn about it. I have the utmost respect for the early pioneers and people who settled these regions. So you're looking around, and it's a hard drive, just in a car. And when you imagine that people climbed these mountains on foot or just with horses and carriages and wagons, like, that is unbelievable to me. That they managed to tame this land where there is so little survivable resources. Like, it's really, really difficult, and they did it with just determination, and that I can't believe it sometimes, but I'm so just impressed by it all. And then, of course, there's the wildlife, which is stunning. We saw just a random mountain goat by the side of the road. There's deer and elk, and if you get up into the Yellowstone area, there's bison, and just all the random little desert creatures, like the little ones. Like, there's rabbits and hares and birds and lots of lizards. And yes, some giant snakes and tarantulas, but you avoid those as easy as you can. And the one thing that I probably love the most about the Southwest is the fact that the sky is actually blue. And I know we talk about blue skies here in California and in Riverside and even here in Orange County where I am, but we don't really have blue skies. We think we do, but we don't. There's so much just pollution and light pollution and cloud cover a lot of the time, and it honestly, it changes the quality of the light, where I look outside and everything is a little bit grayer. Colors are not as bright as they are places where there's not as many people. And again, I am not a fan of big cities. I never have been. I probably never will be. So, going to the Southwest and living there is probably my dream, and I think everyone should at least see it sometime in their life. Okay, thank you. That is my speech.